Just got out of Dune Part 2, and all I can say is, wow. Hello everyone, welcome to Was It Good? My name is Bob, and Dune Part 2, it was good. You know, a lot of people are calling this movie a masterpiece, and I'm going to be honest, when you partner it up with Dune Part 1 and look at it as one whole vision, it's kind of hard to argue against that. There's a very unique vision with this film, and a lot of people seem to be liking this film, and there's really a lot to like about it. If you look over on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a critic score of 94% fresh and 95% amongst the audience. So people love this movie. And like I said, there's a lot to love about it. So let's talk about it. The plot of this movie continues where Dune Part 1 left off, and Paul Atreides is now united with the Fremen, and he's out to seek revenge against those that wiped his family out. At the same time, he continues to have visions of a dark future if he were to become the person that many believe he's destined to become, and that includes his mother and the Fremen themselves. So there's this storyline where he's hesitant to become who people want him to be. And at the same time, there's a lot of political maneuvering and stuff that you see going on in the background that involves the Harkonnens as well as the Emperor himself. Overall, I thought the plot of this movie was pretty good. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. The only reason I'm going to drop it a little bit lower than I did part 1 is because I thought the last act of the film felt a little rushed to me. Overall, I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed the last act of the film, but it kind of felt rushed to me. For example, the final conflict, I just felt like that should have been more there, or maybe there was more, and maybe there's more in the book that just somehow got left out of the movie. I'm not quite sure. Also, as Paul is beginning to come to grips with who he's supposed to become, I felt that particular story was rushed as well. So as a result, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. But overall, this is an extremely good storyline and plot. The acting of this movie, once again, 5 out of 5. All of the cast members I felt hit it out of the park, but there's two that really stood out in my mind. Timothy Chalamet as Paul Atreides, he stepped it up a whole nother level in this movie. The last third of the film, it requires him to go to a different place than he was in the previous 2/3 and even in part 1. And I think he did a great job going there. And through the whole movie, and well, even part 1 as well, he has a screen presence about him that I think really shines through and is needed for this particular character. He did a great job in this movie. Overall, I loved his performance. But the one who stole the show is easily Austin Butler as Fayed Rotha. I'm not sure I pronounced that right, but he is fantastic. This is a character who is cruel. He's a treacherous character, yet he's got some political ambitions, and Austin Butler just portrays all of that. You can't help but have your eyes on him when he's on screen. He was extremely good in this movie. He absolutely stole the show. My favorite character in this movie. As a whole, like I said, the acting is 5 out of 5. The look of this film is absolutely amazing. 5 out of 5. One thing that I got to say about this film, and it's something that I heard somebody else say, I don't remember who it was, but they said that with this film, you don't know where real life ends and the CGI begins. And that is absolutely true with this film. You cannot tell that they're CGI ships. You can't tell half the time that they're on CGI worlds. Everything looks so good. You can tell that they made the most of their budget. I believe the budget was somewhere around 190 million. Yes, 190 million, and they put that money to good use. This thing looks great. Overall, their use of visuals, their use of practical effects, the costumes, everything looks fantastic. Directing, 5 out of 5. Denis Villeneuve did a fantastic job with this. A friend of mine said that this is not an easy book to adapt. What she said was that this director was able to capture the spirit of the book. And it's obvious that he had a vision from the plot and where he took the characters on the overall arc that they went on, the performances that he got out of the actors, his use of practical effects, his use of visual effects, the music that was put in. It is a very unique vision. Like I said earlier, a lot of people are calling this a masterpiece, and it's hard to argue with it when you see this vision come to life. 5 out of 5. For entertainment, I gotta say, this was an absolutely entertaining movie. I was literally glued to my seat. My eyes were glued to the screen. People around me were excited because you could hear their reactions in the theater. Not once did I or anybody else, from what I could see as far as lights come on, check their phones to see what time it was. Everybody just seemed to be enthralled with this. This was an extremely entertaining film. Now, like I said with the first film, I can understand where it might not be everybody's cup of tea because it is a science fiction film with a lot of lore behind it, but thoroughly enjoyed this film. I thought this was good. Now, maybe you saw Dune Part 2 and you didn't like it. That's okay. Maybe you didn't like Part 1 either. You know what? Why don't you tell me about it? Why don't you leave a comment in the comment section before? Why don't you say, Bob, you know what? You're absolutely crazy. Dune Part 2 was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And that's okay. It's fine if we disagree, but when you leave a comment, let's not be disagreeable. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.